Alright, here we are again with another game on Isotropic. As you can see, if you have been tracking my progress, I've fallen a level, but I'm not going to let that discourage me. I'm looking forward to getting to level 40. I think I've got the ability. I just need to put in the games. I've been going up and down over the past while, and I think I've peaked around level 37, 38. But usually once I get there, I taper off because I simply don't put it in the games and I fall. So let's see how I'm able to get through this here. Now he opens Ironworks. It's a colony game, so picking up things like menageries and fool's golds could be useful. Trading post could also be potentially a good accelerator, but considering it's 4-3, I don't know if I want to start that. Remake is always very useful. With the menageries here especially, it could be quite nice. So I think I'm going to try opening Remake and picking up fool's golds with the extra $2 that you have left over after remaking your cards. I think that could work out. I might pick up the menageries instead of silvers, so that the fool's golds are more likely to collide. Let's find out how that works. I'm excited to try it. So I'll trash the 2 coppers away, and then with $2, pick up a fool's gold. Now I really like fool's gold as a card in general. I think it's a really interesting concept. And Remake is very nice for being able to trash your deck very quickly. It can get rid of coppers extremely easily. So now here I'm going to trash both of those into menageries. And the menageries aren't going to be really helpful as far as the draw that they provide. Really, they're just going to be cantrips. I'm more or less looking to remove the estates from my deck with this many fool's golds here. So that and that are going to go into menageries. $2 are going to become another fool's gold. And I'm basically just going to pick up as many fool's golds as humanly possible. So as you can see, the menagerie is not actually going to provide me anything as far as the extra cards. It will be a good cantrip here, though. So there's $11. I'm going to pick up a platinum first. And then subsequently, I'm going to start picking up colonies. I just want to make sure that once the fool's golds stop colliding, which they invariably will once I've got a couple colonies, that I've got a bit of backup money for avoiding the invariable slowdown. So again, as you can see, menagerie is not probably very unlikely to get that hand that it likes, but really I'm just using it again as a cantrip. I don't think that it's going to be necessarily an issue for... I don't think silver is going to necessarily be a helpful card, so I'd rather just have the cantrip there. So there's 8. I'll pick up an expand just to get rid of the to possibly use the menageries and things like that for other money or something like that. So here, so now I've got, I don't want to play that remake because it would just turn my fool's golds and or platinums into things that are not particularly useful. So here with one menagerie, if I pick up a fool's gold, I will be able to make the second menagerie get 3 cards, which is actually quite nice. And so using the expand, I can turn the copper into more menageries. So I get a copper. That's a bit, that's not quite as good. So I'll just play the rest of the menageries out. I don't think I want anything at 6 here, so I would rather just get rid of a copper into another menagerie for the same reasons as before, and then I'll pick up gold. The gold can be expanded into provinces and platinums, which are both quite nice. So meanwhile, my opponent's picked up an estate, a remake a little bit later, and has tried to match on the fool's golds, but also has gotten the ironworks to do so, which is a valid strategy as well. But I think the remake should potentially be a bit faster in that sense. I don't think the quarries are going to be particularly helpful, but we'll leave that to be seen. Certainly I've been, on many occasions, proven wrong by some of the opponents that I've been playing against. So it's always interesting for me to see the different strategies that people have been able to pull wins out with. So here I get a double platinum again, which is just fine. Actually, I'm going to stop playing things here just because I feel like the rest of the deck is probably fairly weighted with Fool's Golds. I've got about 5 actions left, 5 items left in there, and this is $11 already, so I don't feel like I need to cycle much more. So yeah, if I picked up one of those Fool's Golds, the other would have been less valuable. So here I've got 8. I'm going to start picking up provinces now so that I can expand them into colonies. I actually have 9, but I'm going to expand this copper again into a menagerie just to get that cantrip effect, just to get it out of the way. Personally, I'm a big fan of cantrips. I'm really looking forward to rats for that reason, that it kind of is a cantrip that trashes other things into other cantrips, which can then be trash for benefit later on. I really like the slim deck ideal, and cantrips really take up very little space. The opportunity cost can be high, which is why money always takes precedence, but once you have money or a means of getting more money, for example Fool's Gold, cantrips can be particularly useful. So here I've got 5 again. I'm not sure what I want with 5. Nothing is particularly calling out to me. Duchies, it's not early enough to get yet. I could potentially start getting some diversity for fairgrounds, but really I don't think I'm going to have what I want to get up to 15 different cards. So really there's going to be 4-point cards. So at the moment I'm just going to continue getting things like farming villages. Farming villages are reasonable in this set, not for their village effect, but really just for filtering past green. I want to be able to pick up basically Fool's Golds, Platinums, and on occasion, the cantrips that I have in my deck aren't too bad either. So again, I'm not sure why I'm playing these menageries, I don't need them. I'll just go ahead and pick up another colony. There's no plus buys here, so I'm not too worried about being able to pick up multiple things, so really I don't need to play that extra stuff. This is nice, I get to play this menagerie for +3 cards, which triggers the shuffle, and now what happens with triggering the shuffle here, I get to do it again, is that now when I buy green, or any green that I manage to produce, won't be in my deck for at least a little while longer. So I'll just continue playing some of these menageries, because I do want to try to draw the province that I bought with them. So that's fine. I can now expand the remake into another expand, which I think I may as well do. I don't need the remake anymore, and I can now start to expand platinums and golds and things like that. So here's 11 for another colony. Really, there's very few games in which you would actually necessarily need to continue building your engine and get fairgrounds, or rather expand. But in the event that my opponent was going for fairgrounds or something like that, it could be useful to do to have options like this, such as farming villages and things like that. As you can see, my opponent's not really hasn't hit these too hard yet. So in the event that he does start managing to pick those up later on, I do want to have kind of a really strong lead. This game isn't necessarily very instructive as to how to react to your opponent. When I get a higher level opponent, I'll explain a bit more about what I do there. But this is just a bit of information as to how I go about reacting to some of the things that I see on the board, and possibly a bit of information about how I use Remake. So there's farming village, menagerie, and a province. I could pick up a platinum here, and platinums are good as well because they can be expanded into colonies, but really the provinces also can, and I don't think my buying power is going to be too handicapped, regardless of which card I pick up. Do I want to pick up a? I want to trash this fool's gold. Sure, I'll do that. It gives me another card that I'm going to pick up with this menagerie, and it increases the chances that I'm going to have the different cards for the second menagerie. But really, it's kind of moot regardless which way I do it. The gold gives me a bit more power for expanding into provinces and things like that. This is second menagerie, so now I've got $8. I think here I'm just going to pick up that province. Now, if there was 3 or 1 colonies left, I could have expanded a colony into another colony. Since there were 2, I didn't want to do that because then that gives my opponent the opportunity to pick up a colony, as you can see he just did. But as it stands, that's not a concern. So here we go. So this is going to be a pretty good game over. I'll expand actually if I get... So there's only 1 colony left to be had. I only have 1 buy anyways, so I may as well expand gold instead of the province. So I'll get this into that, and then pick up the colony with my buy. So there you have it. It's a bit one-sided, as I said, but nevertheless, I hope this was instructional.